Hello, hello, hello. We are back on another Sunday. I think I'm going to start doing these on Sundays because this seems to be when it's most convenient for people, when people like to tune in. We are back here. Stay sick with Kit. We are back here on another live show tonight. I've got a couple of great women lined up tonight. We're going to talk about all things dating, see where they're at, and see what we can do to move forward. So I'm just going to give it about a minute or so, maybe another 30 seconds. For I know a few people said they want to tune in tonight. And if you're entering the chat, give me a wave, give me a hello. If there's something you want us to address tonight, maybe through some of the situations we talked through with these women tonight, feel free to kind of comment on that. Let us know. And if you're catching this after, thank you for watching. For everyone tuning in and coming in right now, thank you for sharing your Sunday with us. We appreciate you. And the main topic of today, or the title of today's video, is how to always be his main choice. I feel like the reason I titled this video tonight with this is because I think there's so many situations where women are dating guys and they think that the guy is being exclusive to them. And maybe he isn't. Maybe he hasn't communicated that. Maybe he has said that, he's being exclusive, but he's not. And so we want to know how to recognize the signs whether a guy is being exclusive to you, whether he is maybe seeing other women, as well as, we live in a very liberated society. People dating multiple people is very normal. And of course, if we like someone, we want to know how to come across in the best way, and making sure that not only do we maintain our standards and boundaries, but also show them why we're the best choice. I mean, that's why we're here, right? Okay, let's get the first guest in. She's great. We've got Amy, so let's add Amy to the stage. Amy,
Hi.
welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Thanks for sharing your Sunday with us. We appreciate you.
No problem. No problem at all.
So just to start us off, tell us your age and what you do for a living.
So I am 32 and
Okay.
I am a stay-at-home mum, but I do also run a charity business and a podcast with my friend, talking all things autism, and trying to support people with their sort of families and how to get around their day-to-day lives, that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. We respect that. The charity work, we respect that for sure. So
Yeah.
we appreciate your service. And Amy, what is one thing from your dating life or from your love life that you're not getting that you kind of feel like you want to be?
Is it just one thing you want me to say?
Oh,
Right.
well, we can start with one thing and we will take it from there.
Let's just go with the flow.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I've been divorced for 5 years. I've been out of that relationship. Been in a few sort of situationships and relationships that were absolutely pony. But I think it's more my choice in men. That's probably the issue.
Okay. We love the awareness. We love the awareness.
Listen, I know. I'm like, I'm a Taurus, so I'm attracted to red flags like a bull. I don't know what it is
Okay.
about me, but
I see what you did there. I'm enjoying it.
do you
But yeah,
like
sorry.
it?
Carry on.
Any more where that comes from? No, yeah, I don't really know what the issue is, to be honest. It's just I just seem to attract these men that are not very serious about dating, or are just not into being anything more serious. So yeah, it's just
Okay.
It's a lot.
I hear that. So interesting. So you started with kind of your choices in men. First off, welcome everyone joining us today. Thanks for joining us on this live. Amy's just saying that she's been a string of kind of, not the best relationships and attracting men in terms of, them not looking for relationships, kind of messing around.
Yeah.
So, but you started about saying that you feel like it's your choice in men and, the guys that you're picking. Is there something that each guy you've picked, is there something similar? Are you seeing like a trend in terms of the qualities they have?
It's the red flag trend. I don't really know. Honestly, if the red flags were, an island, I'd live right in the middle of it. That's how I feel. That's where I feel I would live.
Are they like the common red flags? Is it the common things?
The common red flags, like, not looking for a relationship, just want to keep it casual. There's a lot of like they want to move in straight away, and I allow that to happen. One even moving in with a dog once, that was fun.
As in moving in with you?
As in moving in.
How quickly are they saying, "Hey, Amy, let's live together"?
That one, I think that was probably my quickest. Actually, that one was about a month. Moved in.
Amy, what are you doing? But yeah,
I
carry on.
don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's like I did say I'd live on Red Flag Island. It is quite bad, but
Okay.
like, you know, just it's mainly, in a nutshell, I feel like it's their insecurities, and then I just want to take them on and help them. I don't really know how to explain it. It's pretty bad.
She's not
It's
doing
bad.
charity work just in the professional
I'm
life.
not.
She's
Do you
doing
know what
it
I
in
mean?
her personal
I'm
life.
doing my bit for the community. If you live in
Okay.
Medway, probably looked after you. It's basically.
I hear that. I hear that. Well, first off, I mean, the generosity is amazing from your part, but you say like you keep choosing these red flags. Do you see these red flags beforehand and then still
Oh yeah.
indulge?
Oh,
Or?
I'm not. Yeah. The thing is, I'm not stupid with it. I do see them, and I go, you know, it's all right. And like every single female ever, I think
Okay.
we try. You know, well, you know, he obviously can't text me back because he's working, he's busy, and he's, you know, not got his phone for 12 hours. How could he possibly text me back? Like, well, he's on a night out. He obviously hasn't got his phone in his hand. You know, he couldn't ever text or ring me. So it's all the obvious stuff, and it's things that obviously I pick up on, and I know as a human being that they are not right, or you know, is that red flag of, you know, there's something I wouldn't accept on normally. So why would I accept it now?
I hear
And
that.
I compare it to my friends and my family. I wouldn't accept it from them. So why am I accepting it from this person? So, and
Very
then,
true.
yeah.
So like you keep saying that, you know, you recognize these red flags, but then you still choose these men. Like, what is it about them that you keep choosing?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
Well, tell us about a situation, and let's break it down.
Okay, right. Are you ready, guys? Right.
I'm ready.
So,
Let's do it.
what should I go in with the moving one? That one was pretty good. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we met, and I'd known him for a few years. Let's call him Ferdinand. So, and then obviously Ferdinand decided that he wanted to escalate things, and we got a bit more serious. Introduced him to my children and my home, and then the next thing you know, he moved in. The next thing you know, I'd literally had just had to put my dog down as well, and I had to. His dog moved in,
Wow.
and then his stuff started coming in the house. But then it just sort of got to the point where he was very insecure about his life. His physical appearance he took quite a lot of pride in, and that come like that gym bod and that sort of stuff like that, that'll come first. So then, yeah, it was just major red flags, arguments all the time. So finally got rid, and then, yeah.
Okay.
So that's one example.
So let's break that down a little bit. I want to explore a few things there.
Okay.
Let's start with, how soon had you met him until he had like met your kids?
It was roughly about 2 months.
2 months.
So
oh, I thought you said he moved in within a month. How long?
He moved in a month, but like, yeah, prior to that. So I'd known him for a while. So they met the kids, and then he moved in. So when we actually become together, that was it. That from that moment, it was a month.
Okay. Oh, okay. I hear that. And so when he met your kids the first time, was he meeting them as this is, you know, your potential romantic partner, or was he meeting them under like different circumstances? Because you said you knew him
so
before.
it was like, he's my friend. This is just my friend. He's coming in to say hi.
And was he just a friend at the time?
No.
Okay, so he was meeting the kids as your potential partner, and you're making that introduction.
Sorry, so it was, but we'd introduce it to the children as, this is just my friend.
Sure.
To start off with.
Okay, I get that. So from the point of you guys kind of starting to date to him meeting them, what was the time period between that?
That was 2 months.
Okay. That's pretty quick.
Do you know
Amy.
what? I'm not bad, am I? It's, you know, it's just after that it gets a bit
sketchy. I hear that, but there's a reason I want to stay on this first, is because when you introduce a potential partner to your kids, that's quite serious.
Yes, yeah.
That's quite serious.
I've always been quite I'm quite a firm believer in, please don't take this personally to anybody else. Like, this is it's up to you, and that's your life. But for me, I don't want people walking in and out of my children's life just as quickly as they want to walk in and out of mine. So
of course,
meeting them is quite a serious thing. So I don't introduce that until I'm 100% sure that this is what I'm gonna do and be involved with. I've got male friends that have met my children, but not in the sense of that.
Yeah. And so after so you've been dating him a couple of months before they met them, right? Before you met them. So were you like 100% sure at that point?
At that time, I was 100% sure and 100% blind to the fact that I thought this was all going to go very swimmingly well and everything else. So yeah, it was.
Okay. So at that point you were like, this is the guy who I'm going to end up being with, potentially for the rest of my life, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I think for the average person, that's quite quick after just 2 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So what was it about him that made you so sure? Because this is going to tie into maybe how it got to the point that he moved in, and then, you established things very quickly. Do you know what I mean? So what made you so sure about him?
I think it was because it was kind of, you get led down the garden path, don't you? And, we're all guilty of thinking that people are what they say they're going to be and sort of listen to all their words and don't really take much notice of the actions. So as much as he said that he was going to come in and do this, do that, help me with this, do this, when it actually boiled down to it, he didn't physically do the things that he said. So it was all very much like, yeah, this is all great, but when are you going to do it?
Yeah, of course. And I think 100% in terms of, it's great that you have that awareness of, people can say things, but we have to remember, do their actions reflect those things, right?
Yeah.
So at that 2-month mark, what were his actions which, in your opinion, reflected to you that his intentions were as serious as yours, or was it just everything he was saying?
Well, yeah, it was more, obviously, I think, because it was the beginning, it was very much trying to match his actions up with his words. So he was quite conscious of that and was doing that quite a lot, in the sense of he would, when he would say he was going to do things, he would do them. Just little things like stupid things like, I'd be like, I forgot to get milk today. And he'd go and get the milk and go, there you go, I've got it for you. And it's kind of like, oh, thanks, you didn't have to do that. And then, yeah, so it's kind of like the whole love bombing thing.
Did he love bomb you within those couple of months?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
Okay, yes. Okay. And
It
what
was
would
like
you say?
grenades going off daily.
Yeah. Did it surprise you how quickly he said it?
Yes. It was all very quick. It was all.
What?
I mean, by the end of it, he was talking about, like, we was together in total 6 months. So when it was getting to the end and he sort of realised that I was pulling away from this relationship, he was talking marriage and all sorts. And I was like thinking, wow, it's been 6 months. I literally have just done all this and had children. I literally just been married with kids. I've literally just done it. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. So from him saying that, he loved you and he's seeing all this stuff, what was the main thing? Because usually for a lot of people, there's a point at which they go, oh, wow, like I really cherish this person.
Yeah.
Right? There's usually like a moment or an event or something. What was that moment for you?
I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think I ever loved him. I just loved the idea of him. So there was not really, for me, it wasn't really love. It was more, I loved the idea that, he could be such a great person and this could go really well and this would be so lovely. But in actual fact, it wasn't. I was very realistic in that, because I'd just been married before. To that marriage was insane, very abusive, emotionally, physically, everything that was. So it sort of builds you into a stronger person. So going into that, I was very much like, well, I don't know if I love you, but I definitely love the idea of what we could be. But yeah,
I hear that. So the interesting thing is, in terms of your physical commitment to him, because were you sleeping with him at this point, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys were being physical.
Yeah.
He had physically met your children, probably the most valuable part of your life.
Exactly.
And he had moved in with you.
With his dog. He forgot the dog.
With his dog, with his 4-legged friend.
Yes.
But you know that you didn't love him.
Yeah.
So you had all this physical commitment with him and closeness with him, but the actual intimacy, the emotional part, you were still like, there was still distant there. You hadn't bridged that gap yet.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the time, and this might have been with your situation or not. A lot
Yeah.
of the time when we progress things physically quickly, and it's not just the sexual thing, but the physical commitment of, you know, being in that person's space all the time and then moving in together and all of that, a lot of the time that happens because we feel like we're trying to lock things in sooner than we're ready.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like how many, if you don't mind me asking, how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I completely understand and sympathize. Like, as a single mother, and then a guy comes in, he's saying, "Hey, I want to step up to the plate. I want to be there for you. I want to potentially be there for your
Exactly.
kids and
And
stuff."
it's like, that's exactly how it was. And it was,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same. Actually, it is the same with all of them. So with everybody that I
Mm-hmm.
speak to, it's kind of like they use the fact that I am a single mum, and they
Yep.
think that that's a weakness. And actually, it's not. I've done this for 5 years on my own. I've
Yeah.
completely managed to raise 3 children, co-parent with their dad, and do it all by myself. However, my house is or whatever, they're food, they're fed, they're happy, and everything else, and we do a lot of fun stuff together. So I don't need anyone to be
No,
involved. But I
you're
have
absolutely.
noticed that it's such a string. They use it really bad. They're
So,
like, it's all right.
so
Like,
here's the
daddy's
thing.
home. Like, no, we don't need that. Thank you very much.
I hear that. So it's funny. They say that men fall in love with their eyes and women fall in love with their ears. That's why women wear makeup and men tell lies.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
That's your slogan. You should have that as
Now,
your slogan.
hey, listen, I'll get on a t-shirt. We'll get on a
Do you know
t-shirt
what I
talking
mean?
about
I
it.
would wear that t-shirt. I would.
Now, here's the thing. You're absolutely right that you being a mother of 3 and you being single, you're absolutely right. That is not a weakness.
No.
But for you, it's a vulnerability. And
Yeah.
vulnerability and weakness is not the same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
The difference between something where it's a weakness and vulnerability, a weakness implies an area that we need to do growth in.
Yeah.
A vulnerability is something that can trigger something.
Exactly. Like,
Right?
I'm fully aware, I've got my own weaknesses and everything else, and
Sure.
stuff that I need to work on as like a mum, as a person, and past traumas that affect my relationships, and that's
Yeah,
stuff that I've learned that I need to work on by myself. But that
sure.
doesn't mean that you can come in with your daddy's
I
here
No,
attitude.
I agree. So here's where the kind of guy stepping up to the plate for, a mother of 3 is a vulnerability for you.
Yes.
Because when you hear that, it makes you want to hold on to them.
Yes. Yeah.
And then what happens is sooner than you physically, and I say physically, not just with your body, but also through your actions,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
try to solidify that deal before emotionally you're ready. And actually, it's usually our emotions which tell us where we're ready for something.
Yeah.
Right? It's when the man knows that he loves this woman and that he wants to spend the rest of his life with her on an emotional level that he goes, I'm going to propose to her.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? And also as
Yeah.
well, like, for example, if we take from the fact that, I like to think we definitely live in a better society when we have sex that comes from a level of intimacy, which,
Yeah.
even if it's casual, there's still a level of connection,
Yeah.
right? And
Exactly.
connection
There's no
implies
point.
emotion.
There's just
Yeah.
no point. You can't just go around
Yeah.
dipping the
But
wand,
even
assuming
in that sense,
yeah.
that means we're only being physical when we go, I like this person. I care about this person. It's like when we've had that level of emotional clarity within ourselves, that's when the physical actions and manifestations present themselves. But what's happening is you've been doing the physical first
Oh my God.
without the justification of the emotional intimacy that actually justifies that action.
I
Does that
know.
make sense?
Honestly, I am. It's like I try and take on the role of trying to fix people, and it's just you can't fix everybody. As much as I'd love to, you just can't. And some people are just not your problem. So
100%.
that's just
So
something I'm trying to work out, I think.
yeah, of course. And you work in a charity, so that sounds like you want to help people naturally, and that's a great
Yeah, all the
quality to
time.
have.
Yeah.
Just make sure you want to give that energy to the right person, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say every previous guy has used this line of I'm going to step up to the plate, I'm going to be the guy to take on this responsibility for you, etc., etc. So when you hear that, because something happens in you when you hear that,
Yeah, but the thing is, for me,
what's that thought process?
it got to the point. So when I first broke up with my ex-husband, I loved it. I was like, "You're going to come in and help me." I felt like a princess. I thought, this man is going to sweep me off my feet. We're going to have the Disney ending of endings, and then obviously he ended up being, I don't even know. Like, he was still the toad after I kissed him forever. You know, it's just ridiculous. They just don't. He didn't change. And then as time went on, I just saw every time I'd hear it, even just when I hear it, I just think, you're not. But I just don't believe
Well,
in it.
something definitely does happen, because that line has, has done very well in terms of guys getting what they want in
Oh
terms of
yeah, I can
progressing things.
imagine.
So
I
what
can.
what is that thought process when you hear that?
So back in that sort of vulnerable stage, when you get that, it's kind of like, wow, he doesn't care. Like, my boys have got autism as well, so it was very difficult. And I think, well, you'd want to take me and them on, and you don't care that they've got additional needs, and and like Rosie was 6 months old, my daughter, she was 6 months old, and I thought, he doesn't even care that I've got a baby, and half the time it was mainly because they just wanted to get their leg over in English. That was it, and just something regular for them to have. And that sort of very needy woman, I think men do like that in that sense.
I think if a man cares about you, he doesn't want to show up for you in a way that is valuable and helpful. He wants to be an asset to his life if he cares about you. But there's
Exactly.
some
You
but
shouldn't
there's
matter anyway.
yeah, but there's one thing that I want to give you some real love and some real truth right now.
Do it. I'm here for
Okay.
it.
The truth is, men always care.
Do you
They
think that?
they always care. Now, that's not saying that guys wouldn't go, hey, I care about you enough, and and I've started to bond with your children that I want to take this responsibility on. Right? So
Yes.
it's not saying that men don't want to take that responsibility on, but a man saying I don't care, he's lying to you. Every man cares.
Do you
Because for
think,
him
is that real?
taking
Is
on
that true?
say
Oh.
again.
Do you know what? I'm trying to go, that is right, he's right. But it's hard for me to hear it, because sometimes I don't think they do.
Sure, but but I'm not saying he cares as in, oh, like I care, I'd like get out of here. I'm not saying
No,
that. What
no,
I'm
yeah.
saying is that if a man is going to be, when a man is taking a woman seriously,
Yeah.
anything that is valuable to her in her life, that's important to her, he thinks about those things because he does care.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He cares in the
Yeah.
positive ways as well as the ways that you
Yeah.
think guys might be like, okay, does that make
Okay.
sense? So
Yeah.
like, because if a guy's gonna take on children that aren't his, that's a big responsibility. You're not just gonna let some random guy be
Absolutely.
responsible for your children.
Exactly. And the thing is, as well, it's a big thing for a mum as well, especially me. I don't know if it's because of the boys' issue, well, not issues, their additional needs. It makes me go, is this going to be okay? Are you sure you're going to run a mile the second you walk in here? And for me, that's quite a big insecurity. If you want me to be brutally honest, that's,
Of course.
so you're going to come in, and so you're going to take me on, plus the boys with their additional needs, my crazy 5-year-old daughter, who's basically me as a miniature human, plus, anything else, all the personalities I generate on a regular basis as a female. Like, are you
Yeah,
sure? Like, are you sure this is what you want? And I think for
100%.
me, I think that's what drives people away, because it's like a massive insecurity of like, what, you're just going to come in, are you, and just sort everything out? And they're like, well, no, I want to be with you. And I think, all right. And I think
Yeah.
that's probably what
So
turns them off.
so one thing that I think is really important, I want to ask you a question. How physical are you with these men? Like, as in how quickly? How quickly are you physical with these guys?
Months.
Amy, here we go. Come on.
Months.
Spill the tea. Be real
Absolutely.
right now.
No, listen, I can't.
Yes, you can.
Quickly, yes, quickly. It can sometimes I'll wait a day or two, but yeah, it can be quite quickly. Yes, that
Okay.
it's
So
quite a physical thing.
here's what I'll say.
Right, come on, tell
It
me.
is
Tell
it
me.
is not it is not a causation between how quickly you sleep with a guy and how serious his intention is, but there is definitely a correlation.
Okay.
There's definitely a correlation in how much space you allow the emotional intimacy to form, right? As to how serious it's going to be for him,
Okay.
right? So let me give you an example, right? What was the last film you went to see in the cinema?
Oh, blimey. I don't know. I don't even remember the last time I went to the cinema. I'm not
Oh,
even
okay. Well, you need
joking.
to go. There's some great films. Well, okay. Let's say
I
the
will.
last film. Let's say the last film you went to see was Barbie, right? Let's say that was the last
Okay,
film.
yeah, Barbie.
Okay. Now, when you go to the cinema, yeah, and you
Yeah.
watch Barbie, yeah, do they show the trailers at the end of the film?
No,
Okay, why not?
because you wouldn't watch them.
Exactly, because you've gone to watch Barbie, right?
You've gone to watch Barbie, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
What actually happened?
I can see where you're going.
You hear this, right? You hear this. And everyone in the chat, anyone who
Listen.
watches my show, you know exactly what's coming, but I'm going to lay it out for those of you that don't know, because this
Lay
is a
it
really
out.
good example.
Yes, tell me.
What actually happens is when you go to the cinema, you watch a bunch of trailers, and then you see something that you see a film that you like, you go, oh, that looks really good. I'm going to come back and watch that, right? You're going to reinvest. Yeah. Then you watch the film Barbie, and then you go home.
And then they show you the membership that they have that you can subscribe to.
Sure, right? But then what happens is when the other film comes out, you then come back to the cinema.
I need a membership.
What I'm saying is, Amy, is the film is the physical intimacy.
Okay.
And the trailers are the emotional intimacy for me.
Right.
What happens is when you sleep with a guy very quickly, and then you then are like, oh, why is he not emotionally connecting with me whilst we started having sex? That's like going, hey, you've already watched the film, but why are people not staying for the trailers of the other films?
Yeah, I was literally talking to my friend about this the other day, and she was like, I think we need to go on a ban of doing it before, like go on dates, enjoy each other's company, and then do it.
100%, because here's the thing about
your willpower is incredible. That's why I said to her, if you want my honest answer, I was like, if you could do that, but I'm going to take it on board. Now you've told me, I will do it.
100%, because here's the thing: as human beings, we are most engaged in the moments prior to getting what we want.
Yeah,
that's why announcements, right, at like football matches or whatever, they happen before the match starts. That's why supporting acts go on before the main act, right?
Okay.
That's why the trailers come before the film, because we are most engaged in the moments that we want. Now, here's the thing: when a guy takes an interest in you, he's taking an interest in you because he's attracted to you, i.e., he wants to be physical with you. Right. Now, he may be open to watching your trailers. He may be open to connecting with you on an emotional level. But then you, as the woman, you have to provide the space for that emotional intimacy to form. So then when he does watch the film, he goes, oh, that was really good. I'm going to come back and reinvest.
Do you know what it is? I'm worried. I'll tell you what it is. And I'm just going to be honest, because I feel like I can be here. So what if we get all the way to the film and it's a very short film in the sense of it doesn't last long and everything. So everything else is really good. This is my argument with the intimacy part. So we've got we've watched all the trailers. We've got memberships logged in, right? But what if we get to the film and it's not what we...
You didn't enjoy the film?
Well, it could be me, it could be them, Is
that what you're saying? What if you don't enjoy the film?
It could be a mixture of things, didn't like...
So are we just going from the first time? Or are we saying like a few times?
No, you can't go from the first time. That's not fair. That's not fair to either party. But I mean, it's a whole, like, if the film is not good overall.
So I would say, so here's what I would say. I would say that if you're looking for a relationship and a partner, a serious partner, then that's not saying that the physical intimacy shouldn't be important, right? But it shouldn't be the main value of your relationship with this person.
No.
Now, here's the thing. If you actively didn't enjoy the film.
Yeah, like I'm talking, you really didn't enjoy the film.
Okay, like then that person just isn't compatible with you.
I know. And then how do you even tell him? Like, the trainers were great.
You just say, no, this is when you just say, hey, look, I've really enjoyed spending time with you, but
Yeah.
for me, it feels more of a platonic thing than a romantic thing, and
Okay.
that's okay. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? But you have to provide the space because, and what's happening to you, and this is coming back to the whole, you being a mother of three and a guy stepping up to the plate. That's not a weakness, but that's a vulnerable point for you because you hear that and you go, oh, I want to grab on.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're like, okay, well, I'm attracted to you. Obviously, you'd be attracted to the guy because you wouldn't give him a chance, right? And then you
Yeah.
being really physical with him, all that is communicating to him that is the primary value that you want to bring. And it's not, because you're a whole human being and you have emotions and you have feelings.
Okay. Okay.
Now, here's the thing. You might be thinking, okay, well, I completely get, right, that you're like, okay, but if I'm attracted to him, I want to be physical. I can't help
Yeah.
myself. But as the woman, because as a woman, you are the gatekeepers to physical intimacy. The men are the
Yeah.
gatekeepers to emotional intimacy. The responsibility is on you and the power is on you to set an appropriate sexual pace.
Okay.
And you're going to have to exercise a bit of sexual discipline, no matter how drawn to him you are. Because if I asked you this, if I said, I'm going to put your dream man in front of you,
Okay.
but in order for him to be with you forever, I need you to exercise some sexual discipline so that maybe, maybe it's a kiss on the first day. And then after that, maybe it's a full-on kiss, etc. And let's say
Okay.
you're not going to sleep with him within the first handful of days. And if you do,
Right.
you will lose him forever.
Okay. I've got this. I think.
Would you do it?
I totally think. I think I can do this. I think I
Okay.
can do it.
That's for you, honestly, Amy, for you, that's your next step. Because if I'm being honest, like it sounds like you're such a giving person. You work for a charity. You said that you want to help guys, etc. First off,
Well,
don't ever move in a guy within
first
the
off,
first 6 months.
well,
Like,
let's calm
let's just
down.
not do that.
The charities for autistic families, not for men who need homes.
Of
So
course, exactly. So
let's not to extent.
reserve that charitable
Let's
donation for them.
calm down.
Exactly. But the main thing is, when you hear that, oh, I'm going to step up to the plate, etc. I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to receive that, right? But reserve judgment that he is intentional with that.
Okay.
Just reserve judgment for me and for yourself, because we don't want that to be a vulnerable part that guys can use that to take advantage. And that's what it sounds like has been happening for you.
Yeah. Yeah. They do.
See what I'm saying?
They do.
So,
They do.
so the two things I would say 100% for you to take away is work on when you hear that to reserve judgment on a guy's intention, and you need to start exercising sexual discipline for sure.
I think, do you know what? That's going to be a test for everyone involved, I think. But I think I can do it.
Do it for yourself, man. You deserve, if you want that relationship and commitment, you deserve it. And what you could do, and I'm not saying you have to be a nun for like the first 3 months, but what it's about developing the physical intimacy as you develop the emotional intimacy. So here's where you're going to take it. Here's what when I work with women, this is what I always say to my clients. How you know whether the right time to sleep with a guy is ask yourself, would I introduce him to my friends? So imagine your girlfriends are having like a party, right, on that weekend.
What, when you have to first profile picture? It is struggles, isn't it?
No, I don't mean show them first profile picture. I mean, like, would you bring him as a +1?
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, you
because
mean
the thing is, every time, because whenever we bring someone as a +1, right, they are our ambassador. They represent us, right?
Right.
So, because imagine if you go to a party, you bring a +1, and let's say there's a guy there and he's like trashing the place, he's being really drunk, being very obnoxious, and they go, oh, like whose guest is that? And everyone's like, oh, that's Amy's guest. Everyone judges you for the bad guest because he's your ambassador, right?
That's true. They do that. That's
right. So a lot of the exactly. So a lot of the time when we're invited to an event, especially around our close friends, whenever we bring a +1, they are an ambassador for us. And because we subconsciously know that, we wouldn't bring anyone that we don't know well enough who would be a good ambassador for us.
Okay.
Right. So when you ask yourself with a guy, if things are going well, you've been on a couple of dates and stuff, and things are going nice, you're getting to know him. If you're thinking, okay, I'm really attracted to him, I want to know if this is the right time for me to sleep with him, ask yourself, if my girlfriends were having a party and I could bring a +1 this weekend, would I take him with me? And if the answer is no, it's too soon to sleep with him.
Okay. All right
Because
then.
if the answer is
I
no,
think
it
I can
means
do
that
this.
you don't know
Do you have
well.
faith
You
in
don't
me?
know well
I have
enough.
faith.
You can do this. You can do
I
this. I
have
believe
faith
in
in
you.
me.
I
I
believe in
truly
you.
believe it.
We'll check in a month's time and see where you're at.
Oh God. All right then. Yes. All
We
right.
love that.
Let's
But
see.
Amy, listen,
Hopefully I'll be married. No, no.
hey, listen, if you're married, I'll be like, hey, tell the people your secret. Tell the people
No,
your secret.
I don't think I will be. It's fine.
We
But
hear
yeah,
that. But listen, we appreciate you for coming on. Definitely take that away from you. You know, from this conversation. Thanks for sharing your story with us. We appreciate you.
no
So
problem.
enjoy your Sunday. All right.
And you. See you
All right.
later.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
We love that, man. We love that. Sometimes it takes for us to. We have to look at. It's all good understanding and recognizing that when people are doing us wrong and they're not giving the energy that they promised, but at the same time, we have to have a level of accountability for the boundaries that we should be setting. Because something that my parents always told me is that people treat you how you allow them to. And so if you allow someone to be treating you, you know, if someone treats you badly once, you know, shame on them. But if they continue to do that, then that's shame on us because it means we're allowing them to do this. And if we're allowing them, we are saying this is permissible. And a lot of the time, it's not. Now, sometimes we want to express these things and be like, we can say, hey, I don't appreciate this, etc. But a lot of the times, actions speak louder than words. And so we have to show through our actions. If somebody isn't showing up for us in the way that we need them to, especially if we're giving them that energy, then we have to show that maybe we'll be taking a step back. Maybe we're not as accessible. And when they say, hey, what's going on? You say, hey, look, this is a standard that I appreciate. This is a standard that I am bringing. I feel like you're not bringing it. So when you're ready to bring it, you let me know. And if they're open to taking you seriously, right, immediately that garners respect for yourself. And if they are open to taking you seriously, they'll be like, well, I'm going to step up to the plate. So thank you to Amy for coming on. We have another guest coming on, waiting patiently. We appreciate you. Appreciate you. Ironically, her name is also Amy. This wasn't on purpose, but here we are. So I'm gonna bring her into the chat and let's see what she's got for us. Amy, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for joining us. I was gonna say on this Sunday evening, but actually it's a Monday morning for you, right?
Yeah, it is Monday morning. Yeah, it's
Oh my
almost
gosh.
5. It's 5 a.m.
You're in sunny Australia.
Sunny Australia. Yeah, it's
We love it.
super sunny still at the moment, which is nice.
Oh, good. Well, I want to start off. Tell us your age and what you do for your work.
Okay,
Your
I'm
occupation.
29 and I manage like a shop in the place called Fremantle. We make like perfumes and skincare, and then I also have my own business making clothes and selling clothes and other textile stuff.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
sick. We love that. We love that. And so, Amy, what do you want from your love life that you feel you aren't getting at the moment?
I think like a level of emotional intimacy,
Mhm.
and also just like to be with somebody that I really can get behind, and yeah, just something solid that's like a bit more serious and not kind of, how do I explain it? Like, yeah, just like someone who I really, really like spending time with, and I believe in them, and I'm like 100% behind them.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. So
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
you can pour your all into and someone who you feel
yeah,
is kind of worthy of that.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. And what's been your experience kind of so far recently?
Well, I got out of a 5-year relationship about a year and a half ago,
Okay.
and since then I've like probably seriously dated one person, and then I found out that they were lying about having a child
Oh,
for
wow.
like 4 months, that we were kind of seeing each other. So that was just sort of like I couldn't go back after that because it was like you had so much time to tell me, and I had asked them as well like a few times like, do you have children? Because they were a bit older than me. That he was like 36.
Right.
So I'm like, you've lived a whole life. Like, obviously, you could have a child, but yeah. And then since then, I kind of haven't really been like dating because I just don't really know where to meet people because I don't really like using dating apps. So,
Mm.
although I did give it a go, but I was kind of like because it had been so long since I was in the dating scene.
Yeah.
I was like, I download like Tinder because I'm like, oh, that's where everybody goes. But
The
then,
worst,
then I
the
was like,
worst one, Amy. The
I
worst
know.
one.
And then it was just like all the people that I met, I was like, oh my God, this was a mistake. And it
Okay.
just, yeah, put a pretty like sour taste in my mouth. And I was like, oh God.
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about the let's talk about that situation with that guy who said he had a kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So was it that he just didn't volunteer that information to you and you found out by accident, or was it literally like, you know, you asked him and he was like, no, I don't have kids?
So there was a situation where like he was on the phone to someone and it was on speaker, and they asked him if he had kids, and he kind of like didn't know that I could see him, and he kind of like turned around to see if I was listening, and then he said no. And before that, I'd asked him if he had children, and he said no.
Okay.
And then like I think what happened was like, at first, maybe he didn't know what he wanted to be with me. And then he started being like, oh, I actually want to be with this person. And then he started acting really weird. And he was like, I have to tell you something. And then he actually told me after a while, like he called me up and he was like, I've been lying to you. I didn't know, like, I wanted you to like me for who I was, not for just like, I don't know, he just made up kind of like an excuse of like, which I also respected the fact that he had the courage to tell me, because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have done that. They would have just let it keep on going. So yeah.
So I think, you know, while I don't condone lying, of course, and he should have told you when you asked him, especially.
Yeah.
I think the two tick boxes is, one, he did actively call you and volunteer that information. He was like, I need to tell you this. And the second thing was that he was like, he got to a point where he was like, I actually really care about this woman, and if she's going to be in my life, she needs to know.
Yeah.
However, obviously, you know, the red flag or the red point is against him is that he shouldn't have lied about it. But one thing that I think is worth considering is that, because kind of, not that you shouldn't tell someone you have kids, but that is very personal. And, you know, there might be a time where it's when that person's ready. But when he told you that he did have kids, was it a child or plural?
Like just one child. Yeah.
One child. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you say to him?
I just said like, thank you for being honest and thank you for telling me. Because honestly, like my intuition already knew that something was not adding up here. So I was like, I'd already kind of been like, I could just tell that he was hiding something. I didn't know what it was. So when he told me, I wasn't really surprised. So I just was like, thank you for letting me know. Like I need some time to process this information, because I don't, like, it's just really, really hurtful that you've been lying about this for the last few months.
Okay. And then I'm guessing things ended because you called it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you call it off because he has a kid or because he lied about it?
Because he lied about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I've kind of already thought about it. I had already thought about it. I was like, I'm okay dating someone who has a kid, like if the situation's not too messy. So, and it wasn't like, but I don't know. It's just like when you've, like, he literally lied about it like about 4 times. So I was like, I don't think I can trust you after that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And I get that. Of course, someone
Yeah.
lying to us, you know, it's going to breed distrust. And
Yeah.
it's definitely not the foot we should be starting off on.
No, it's just, yeah.
Could you, while I obviously don't agree or condone it, do you understand why he would lie about it to you? Or is that,
Yeah.
would you struggle? Are you like, I don't get why you would lie about that? Or do you understand why he would be hesitant to tell you?
I mean, like, I get it. It would be hard, like, if you really like someone and you think that, like, that information is going to stop them from being interested in you.
Very
Like, I
true.
get that. That would be really hard. But also, I just feel like, why lie? Like, it's going to come out eventually. So you may as well just say it from the start, because then, like, you don't get all, like, intertwined in each other's lives. And then it's like this difficult thing. And I don't know. That's just me, though. But
Did you really like him and see a future with him, or were you kind of undecided about that and this kind of tipped it one way?
yeah, I think there was like a lot of really, really good stuff about like our relationship, but then I think as well what also happened was he was putting in so much effort in the beginning, and then it just sort of slowly started to like trickle away. And I was like, it just felt like a bit love bomby as well.
Okay,
And
so you were having
I was
questions and
having doubts.
doubts
Yeah, I was having
about it.
already having some
Okay.
doubts.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you and correct me if I'm wrong, Amy. I
Okay.
think the reason you ended it was because, and he shouldn't have lied to you.
Mm,
He shouldn't have lied to you. But because in your head you were dating this older guy, great guy, at least, at least initially,
yeah.
and things were going well, you painted an image in your head about what your future could look like. And
Mm,
then when you found out he had a child and he told you, that image completely changed.
mm.
And
You
then,
had yeah. Okay. Yeah.
just to be truthful about it,
Hmm.
you weren't at a point where you liked him enough that the
Yeah.
new image, you were like, I'm not, I don't want to sign up for this.
Yeah. Fully.
So
That's.
while I completely agree that lying, that should be a red flag first,
Mm,
something about this, we can understand why he did it. But I think if you actually liked him enough to see a real future with him, if you were asking questions,
mm,
I think you would have forgiven him and stayed.
yeah. That's so true.
Is that fair
Yeah.
to say?
That's fair. That's fully. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
And that's okay, because I mean,
Yeah.
let me ask, like, do you have kids?
No, I don't have kids.
Okay, cool. So
No.
it's pretty normal that if somebody,
Mm.
do you want to get married and have kids?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So it's pretty normal that people who don't have kids and want to get married and have kids, it's pretty natural for them to go, I also want to choose someone where when we have kids, it's also their first time.
Yeah. 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 Of course. There's.
You
Yeah.
know, that's pretty
Yeah.
normal. And that's okay. And essentially what happened was you just found out that you weren't compatible,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
How's it been with other guys that you've met since him?
Well, there was one guy that I met on Tinder,
Mhm.
and like I've always been like a relationship kind of person, but I guess as well I was like I'm still I know like it takes a long time to get over like a 5-year relationship.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I kind of I met this guy, and like the physical attraction was like insane, to be honest. I was like I don't think I've ever felt just like this kind of attraction to someone. So like we ended up kind of just like having a casual situation for a little while, and then he moved away, and he was like, "I'll contact you when I get there," and then I just never heard from him. And I was kind of going through this phase of like, I don't know, I got like a little bit bitter, and I was just like, oh, like blocked, and I just like blocked him because I was like, "You're a dick." And then a few months later, I was like, oh, that was actually like really immature to do that. So I unblocked him. And then he
Mm.
called me like a few months later, and we kind of like, because he was living far away, so we couldn't spend time together. And he was kind of just like, I really want to see you again. Like, I miss you, all of this stuff. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't
Mm.
know. Like, we didn't really have like, we got along, but we didn't have like a very deep emotional connection. But I was kind of like, maybe we just like everything happened too quickly. Maybe there's something to explore.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of was like, I just realized that he was just lying. He didn't really mean it. Like I think he just wanted access to me again. Kind of felt like he was just playing a game of like, can I get back into your life after you've like shut me out almost.
Yeah.
Um,
I get
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
with that guy, you said that you never felt like such an insane level of chemistry.
Mm.
What was it about him? Describe him to us.
Um,
Give us
he
his
was
MO. Did he look like Jason Momoa or what?
kind of no. He was from Nigeria, and
Big up Nigeria. Come on. We love it.
oh, are you Nigerian too?
I am indeed.
Hey.
I am indeed.
So yeah, he was just like really handsome, really, really confident. Like I'd never been like a lot of like my ex who I was with for 5 years was like very shy and like socially awkward. And then when like this guy, he was just like so confident and so like I don't know, just it was just like real contrast for me.
I hear that.
Even
And
though like to date someone like that for me is different. Like I'd rather date someone who's a bit more shy. I don't know, but
I
yeah,
get that. I get
yeah,
that. So you kind of said that you alluded that, oh, you're quite a relationship person, but then you said with this guy, you kind of entered a casual thing.
yeah. That's
Wh-
the first time I've ever done that.
Okay, why did you do that this time?
It was honestly, it was like just where I was at that time. Like I felt like after the person that I dated who had a child, I was kind of like, oh, you just get a bit disheartened and you're like, oh, I
Mhm.
can't really be bothered to keep on trying to like open myself up emotionally and then it's gonna just like crash again. So
Yeah.
I was just like, well, it can have some company and um just have some like company and have some fun. And then yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I get that. You're like, I just went through this mess thing. I just want to have some fun company, enjoy
Mm,
myself,
yeah.
nothing, etc. And that's absolutely fine.
Mm,
But one thing I always say is for women, especially,
mm,
is that if you're gonna have a casual situation with a guy,
mm,
always make sure you choose a guy who you would not consider seriously.
yeah.
Now, because sometimes we can meet people who we find super attractive, right? And they may be fun to be around, chemistry and sparks are flying, but maybe they don't have qualities that are actually compatible for the kind of
Yeah.
relationship we want. So you
Yeah.
literally said you were just like, oh, look, well, I kind of tend to choose a guy who's a little bit more on the quieter side, maybe less extroverted,
Mm,
and that's just what works for you.
yeah.
But this guy was fun to indulge in, and that's absolutely fine.
Mm,
But it's really important, and the reason I say this because it happens more often this way, where you'll have like a friends with benefit situation,
mm,
and because generally sex does affect men and women differently. That's not saying that women can't have casual sex and that men never have, properly emotional sex.
yeah.
But generally, it happens more often where the woman will start to have feelings, especially if she has very good sexual sex with the guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Because especially as a woman, when you have great sex, especially if you orgasm and all of this stuff,
Mm,
oxytocin is released, and that is the
yeah.
bonding hormone. So, and it's annoying. I always want to emphasize to women, a lot of time women can beat themselves up and be like, wow, like I know this is casual and I said I wasn't getting emotions, but now I have feelings, and they're like, there's something wrong with
Mm,
there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with you. It shows that you're actually normal and functioning correctly as a
Good.
human
Thank
being,
God.
as a woman. 100%.
Yeah.
So like if you get feelings for a guy you're being intimate with, that's completely normal.
Yeah.
But the reason it's really important, I say, if you're gonna have any kind of level of casual relationship, you choose a guy that you wouldn't see seriously, is because
Mm,
that's going to help manage the emotional attachment you have to him
yeah.
and the
Yeah.
expectation.
Yeah. For
B-
sure. Yeah.
Because especially because that's why it's like, you know, we have like a holiday fling,
Yeah.
right? And part of the amazingness is because it's not gonna work because he lives
Yeah.
in Spain and you live in
Yeah.
New Zealand.
For sure. Yeah.
Right? And
It's
so
like,
kind of, oh, we have the moment and we know this relationship would never work.
yeah.
That's part of what makes it exciting, but also,
That's really good point.
do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
also,
That's
if
really
you're
good
having it
point.
for like 2 weeks, you can have
Yeah.
amazing sex with the person,
Mm.
but you're okay to let it go because you know it can never work.
Yeah, true. Because you've already, before you go into it, you already know that you can't.
You already
Yeah.
know a
Yeah.
relationship is not on the table.
That's cool. That's good. Yeah.
So the only difference with that situation and this situation
Mm.
is that you didn't know that it wasn't on the table emotionally.
Yeah.
You hadn't kind of just clarified that for yourself,
Mm. Yeah.
because there's nothing, and many of us have been in a situation. There's nothing harder than being so close to someone that you want and can't have.
Yeah.
And when you're
Yeah.
having
For
sex with
sure.
a guy that you actually
Mm.
want,
Mm.
that's like having that closeness, but it's like
Yeah.
I can't have you.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and that's even and what makes that such a detriment, especially as a woman, and I'm using generalizations here, but it's just generally how we function.
Mm.
Generally speaking, most women aren't having sex with multiple guys,
Yeah. No.
generally speaking,
Mhm.
even if they're being casual.
Mhm.
And so not only are you then not even open to anyone else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
But
thought about
also,
that.
he's also guys, they will have sex with multiple women.
Oh my God,
Until
yeah.
a guy is in an exclusive relationship, he's
You guys are
going to be
crazy.
open.
You guys are
We're just
crazy.
built different, Amy. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh
We're
my
just
God.
built different,
It's true. It's true.
right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
not only are you being exclusive to him, and it's
Yeah,
not because he's
it's so
asked you, but it's
ridiculous.
because you're like, I only want to have sex with one guy at a time. Like,
Yeah.
why would I do anything
Yeah.
else? He's also being physical with other women.
Oh God. Yeah.
How crazy is that situation?
We're so different. It's crazy.
So this
It's
is why,
actually insane.
yeah, go on. What do you think about what I just said?
No, I just think as well, like it's crazy because I feel like guys know that as well. And then they're just like, cool, like I've got this chick in the bag, like I'll go and like find another one. I'm like,
Yeah, because it is true. A lot of the time, especially guys who are, if they're attractive and if they're confident, right? And maybe if they're Nigerian, no, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But if they're
Probably,
if they're attractive and if they're confident, and it's for every guy from every nation, right?
Yeah, every guy from every nation. Yeah.
If they can have multiple sexual options with women, they will.
Even if they're in a relationship?
Well, if you know,
Or
I
that
mean,
depends on the person.
well, if he's in a relationship where it is exclusive, then no, he shouldn't do that, of course. Do you know what I mean? And if he does do that, then he's lying, and he's, you know, he's trash for lying in that sense.
Another ball game. Yeah.
But until, I always say this, until you're in an exclusive committed relationship, always assume that he's open to dating other women, because he probably is.
Wow. Okay. That's a shift.
Do
Okay.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that sense, when he came back, why do you think he came back now that I've just told you?
This is what I actually think. I think that, like, because he lives in a really small town, I think he probably couldn't find anybody else, maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe maybe because there was so much time had passed, he had like thought about our time together. I honestly don't know, but I don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good reason.
Okay, so when he came back, how did he come back? Like, what did he say? What did he do? How did he try and see you?
Yeah, so basically, like, I honestly feel stupid that I even fell for this, but
Don't worry, Amy. That's why we're here. We're here to clear the mist.
oh my God, he texted me on. So I hadn't spoken to him since like November. He texted me on Valentine's Day.
Damn, that
I
move.
know.
That
I
move.
know.
Yep, go for it.
I know. And then he was like, hey, like, I know this is random, but like, I just really miss you. And I've been thinking about you a lot, and just like all of this stuff. He's like, I hope it's okay that I'm texting you, because like, I think I was pretty like, I'm not like, leave me alone kind of vibe last time we spoke. And then, yeah, he was just, I was like, it's all right. Like, how have you been? And we just kind of were like catching up casually. And then this was the craziest thing, which should have just been like a straight no from here. But he was like, keep in mind, like, I haven't seen this guy in probably 6 months. He goes, I want you to come to Kalgoorlie this weekend. And Kalgoorlie is like 7 hours away from where I live. And it was a heat wave as well. And it's hot as fucking Kalgoorlie.
Okay.
And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not coming to Kalgoorlie. Like, that's ridiculous. Plus, yeah, I was just like, I'm not coming. And then, but I didn't say it like that. I was just like, oh, sorry, like, I can't come this weekend. Like, maybe another time. And then when I said maybe another time, I was like, I'm not saying this. In my mind, I was like, I'm not going to entertain this guy anymore. Like, he still was like done in my mind. And then like, he called me the week after, and he was just like full, like, so interested, like just taking such an interest in me, which he hadn't really done before. And he just sounded kind of different on the phone. And then we were kind of like texting a bit, and Like he would just call me like once a week for a little while. And then he was like, I'm going to come to Perth to visit you. So then he drove like 6-7 hours to Perth.
Wow.
And then like, which I was like, oh, okay, like you're like stepping
That's
up.
investment, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was like, that's investment. And then he like came over and like stayed at my place. And then in the morning, like he just left. And I didn't see him again for the whole weekend. And then he just went back and didn't tell me that he was like leaving. Turned out that he like stayed an extra night and he didn't tell me. So like he could have seen me again, like if he wanted to, but he just came over, left, and then went back to Kalgoorlie. And then like 2 weeks later, he came back to Perth again and was like trying to hang out. To see, well, he made it seem that way because like he called me after he got back to like the first time he came, he called me like a few days after he got back, and he was like, I'm thinking of coming back to Perth again for Easter. And I was like, oh, you're coming to Perth a lot lately. And he's like, yeah, you're giving me like a good reason to.
So he doesn't know anyone in Perth?
He does know people in Perth. He was like staying with a friend after he stayed with me. He went to stay with a friend of his.
Okay.
Mm.
I see what's happened.
And I was like, is it another girl? I thought that as well. But
so I think sometimes it seems like a guy is making an investment when it's actually out of convenience.
Yeah.
So he definitely knows people or someone in Perth. There's definitely a reason why he's going back there. And that's why every time he knows he's coming back to Perth, he then reaches out to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like, hey, Amy, I'm thinking of coming to visit. Does this day work for you?
Yeah, there's none of that. It's so
because if he was coming for you, he wouldn't be like, hey, like I'm gonna be in Perth Friday, I want to see you.
Yeah, like leaving it up to chance almost. I'm like,
right. If he was coming for you, he'd want to arrange, because if he's gonna make that trip, he wants to make sure you're free.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh God. Yeah.
So that means that for whatever reason that he's coming to Perth, he's trying to use this situation with you as a level of convenience for him. And then what's happening, he's going, hey, I traveled all this way to see you. And of course that makes you go, oh wow, like that does sound like you made investment. You said that to me and I was like, yeah, that 6-7 hours just to see that's an investment.
Yeah, exactly. And then because the first time that he came as well, like he had told me he was coming and he said that he had to like do something at the embassy on the Saturday. So I was thinking like Saturday night, like he made it seem like Saturday night, like I'll see him. And so like Friday night I'd made plans with my friend and he texted me, he's like, hey, so like what time should I come over? And I was like, what? I was like, sorry, like I'm not free. Like I didn't see him because I was like, you don't just really get, I don't know, it just felt really rude. And so I was just like,
here's my question to you, because you said it'd been about 6 months.
Yeah, I think so. About 6 months since we'd seen each other.
Why did you see him again?
I think I was bored because I already knew that I would never date this guy. Like I would never date him.
So I'm guessing, did you guys sleep together?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
But also
go on. Also,
I was just going to say, like, from the last time that I'd seen him, it was just like the spell was really like gone. Like I didn't even feel that attraction anymore because he was just so like on the inside, he was just like not.
He wasn't present with you. He was there to satisfy his own need. That's what you felt.
Yeah. And I couldn't not see that the last time I saw him. I was like, oh, you're just not even here for me at all. Like, yeah.
So when you said you saw him, did you know you were just seeing him in a casual way? Was that your intention? Or were you kind of like, oh, I want to see him to potentially see if there's something?
Honestly, it was a little bit of like, this might sound weird, but I was like, I'm just curious how this is going to play out. Like, what's his motive? And I think because I have been kind of like cutthroat recently, of just like, as soon as I see like a few red flags, I'm just like, I'm out. Like, I'm just closing that time gap of like seeing the flag and staying around, because I've definitely been the person who always gives the benefit of the doubt, and it's not good for me.
I hear
So
that.
yeah, because I just like, I'm really like, I love people. I care so much about people, and like, I always want to help like my friends, and I'm just have been that person in the past that sort of, I feel like you know what I mean. But
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, and so I
And
kind of was curious, and I thought, well, I hadn't been dating anybody, hadn't like slept with anybody since him,
mhm.
and
So
I
you were
was
feeling frisky.
yeah, I was like, I'm ready to go. Like,
You're like, let's do it.
let's go for another round. But then yeah, it just
I hear that.
felt yucky. Just felt yucky.
And the thing is, I'd made a note because I did want to address that. I could feel that you had been quite quick to end things from the few guys you've told me about, like
Mm,
in terms of, you say you
mm,
didn't hear from him and you blocked him straight away, and then you kind of unblocked him and stuff, and then you were
yeah,
the previous guy, he was lying, etc. But you seemed very clear, like at that point I was like, I'm done, etc.
yeah.
And I completely understand a lot of the time that behavior comes from us because we've had experiences that have shaped our perception of when we see certain things.
Mm,
And so we can associate, we can go from A to B to Z.
yeah,
You go, like if a guy's late for
yeah,
a date, like, oh, well, I remember that one time when a guy was half an hour late, and that's because he was with another woman. So because this guy
yeah,
was late, he was probably with
yeah.
another woman,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Now, you're not wrong in being discerning.
Mm,
You're absolutely right in being discerning. But I think you're looking for the wrong things to be discerning about.
okay. Well,
And given the benefit of the doubt isn't a bad thing if someone's previous actions have reflected the positive intentions we're looking for.
mm,
Does that make
mhm.
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I get you're not going to give everyone because you have to build a level of trust with someone, and you're
Mm,
not just going to say give everyone like take their word when you don't really know them.
yeah.
But what we don't want to do is we don't want us giving the right treatment to the wrong person,
Mm,
then make us give the wrong treatment to the right person.
for sure. Yeah, that's
Because
so
then
true.
all that ends up doing is you could jeopardize potentially a great relationship because of
Yeah.
some guy who didn't treat you right. Like, why are
Yeah.
you giving him that satisfaction for?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true.
So has there been another guy since then? Like, is there a situation where you've kind of
Mm-mm. Nah,
so
nah.
where you at right now?
So right now, I like a few days ago. Well, right now I'm trying to figure out how to tell the guy who lives away
Mhm.
that this is like done. Like I don't want to continue doing this. But he hasn't texted me in about a week. So I'm like, I don't know if I'll just wait until he texts me and I'll be like, look, like I think it's best if we go our separate ways. Like it's been fun, da da da. But other than that, like that that's where I'm at. It was
Okay.
just yeah.
Why are you trying to do you feel like you have to tell him it's done for you to move on, or can you move
Yeah.
on without hearing from him?
Well, yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, I could just not say anything. But that just doesn't really sit right with me. Like
Sure.
I
I get
feel
that.
like I feel like I need to say this is done so I know in my mind that I'm like, okay, like I can put that behind me now because I've told them it's not like,
Mm.
just this awkward like, hey, like you're ghosting me and I'm ghosting you and like that I just don't like that. I just would
Yeah.
prefer to communicate.
And I think honestly, I think everybody should be like that, to be
Mm.
honest. I think everybody should definitely be like, hey, look, I get we had a great time, but this is done.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people
Thank
don't
you
like
for
doing that. Yeah,
yeah.
some people are like, oh well, we've not heard from each other, so I'm just gonna move on.
Mm.
And there's no right or wrong about it, but if you're saying this is actually more for you, then it's
Yeah,
definitely worth doing for sure.
yeah.
Because now when you send that text, you're like, cool, I know I can't indulge in
See,
that anymore.
yeah, yeah,
Now,
for
when
sure.
you send that text, if he messages you to seeing you, how are you gonna handle that? Because he's gonna do that. Just so you know.
I had a feeling.
He's gonna try again at some point.
Why? Just let it go.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why, Amy. The truth is because for some men's experiences,
Yeah.
a woman will say one thing, but she'll do another.
That's true.
A woman will say, "Hey, look, I'm not open to this," and then he's like, why don't we just go for a walk and see what happens? Next thing, she's waking up in his bed like, how did I get here? Like, I said this wasn't gonna happen. So not only from guys all the time, right? And guys should take no for an answer. I'm not saying, it's okay. But a lot of the time they've heard it so much in one ear, out the other, where the actions reflect something different.
Okay.
So for you, now this is for you, right? It's really important you know how to handle it because you're going to be tempted.
Yeah.
Because if one, and I'm just making an assumption, so correct me if I'm wrong, but if you went back there to have sex with them before, the sex was probably decent, good enough. You're like, this is good. Like, I know I'm gonna have fun, gonna get this need met. Because if it was bad, you'd be like,
well, yeah, but here's the thing: was like this time around, it wasn't even that good because it's like I feel like at a certain point, if you don't build like a deeper emotional connection, I can't like it's done for me. Like the physical attraction can only last so long. So,
yeah, I agree. And if I'm being honest, he was probably having sex with you in a very selfish way the last time.
Oh God, yeah, completely. It was not even that, like it wasn't even nice at all. So so in that sense, I'm like, I don't think I would have trouble to continue. It's more like with these situations I've realized is like because they happen over such a long time frame, it's like if they hit you up a few months later, you've kind of forgotten like all of the other stuff. So it's like I've now what I've done, my friend told me to do this and I just like made a list of all of the things that like how he made me feel, all of that. And I've just got that list and I'm like, I just will reread it and I'd be like, that's why. And so
especially because when they text you, you're gonna get that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God, like he's come back. Even if you don't want it, you're like, he's come back to me. He wants to see me again. Blah blah blah. And that makes us feel good.
It does.
And that's why, and when you were like, oh, I want to just see what it's about, because that's that validation, that dopamine hit. Like, I want to see him try.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's so bad.
So I think actually that is a really good idea that your friend said to you, that you write down not all the things you don't like about him, whatever, but how it made you feel.
Yeah.
That is so great, because and I don't say you should be revisiting how you felt in that sense, but that is way more potent to give us the incentive to serve ourselves better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you again, Amy, when he messages you to see you, how are you going to handle it?
I'm going to say no.
Yep. How are you going to say no? Okay, let's do role play.
Oh, like what am I literally going to say?
Yeah, let's do role play. I'm going to text you, right? I'm on my phone right now. You have to say his name. I'm the Nigerian guy in New Zealand. Hey, Amy. Hey, stranger. How you doing? I'm going to be in Perth next week. Would be great to catch up with you.
Hey, what his name is? I would probably say like I'm not interested, or I don't know if I would just say like I am not available.
Do you know what we're going to do right now, Amy? We're going to craft this text and you're going to save it right under where the feelings things is. This is we're going to do this for you right now.
So, but do you think it's better to, like, what do you say that you're not available, or do you specifically just say like it's done, like it's over?
Do you want? Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to articulate to him that you are no longer interested, or do you want to kind of play the I'm too busy to see you card?
I just want a clean finish. Like I just want it to be done so I can move on.
Okay. So he just said to you, hey, I want to see you, let's catch up. You can say, hey, Tim.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out. I'd almost forgotten about you.
Oh yes, I love that.
Right? It's just it's just teasing. You're not being hostile, but you're just being teasing. And then you can say, while, and we can arrange this. You can say, while it was great spending time with you, I've realized that what this isn't what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm just writing it down. Yeah.
No hard feelings. Wish you the best.
I like that. It's concise.
So read it back to me.
Okay, so hey, Tim. Thanks for reaching out. I'd almost forgotten about you. While it was great spending time with you, I've realized that this isn't what I'm looking for. No hard feelings. Wish you all the best.
Perfect.
Cool. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
You've got your point across.
Woohoo.
You've been concise.
Yeah.
Now here's what I want you to do.
Yeah, because
he may try and continue the conversation.
Yeah.
I want you to resist engaging.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in there too.
Resist engaging. I literally want you to leave it. He can't say I ghosted. You can't be like, oh, she ghosted me, because you made it very clear that you're not looking to entertain this anymore.
Okay. So yeah.
Now the reason I want you to resist engaging in the conversation, because he's likely going to try.
Yeah.
Is because when we are engaging in texting, we are investing emotion.
Yeah.
We are investing time, we are investing attention, and we're getting emotion. Now, even if the emotion from you is, why can't you leave me alone? It's so annoying, etc., etc., he is still getting emotion from you.
True. That's so true.
Right? And if he's still getting emotion from you, there is still opportunity for him to persuade you. And what we want to do for ourselves, not just communicate to them, but for ourselves, is put them at a point of indifference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can't affect us positively, but they can't affect us negatively.
Okay. I like that.
And that is actually way more powerful than us being like, I hate you, you're shit, etc.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than being like, wow, no matter what I do, I can't have an effect on you. That there is nothing clearer than this is over than that. You know, when it's like, what is this? It's like you ever had it when you're younger and maybe you like did something like naughty or something, like something really bad, and you're used to your parent, you're expecting your mom or dad to like shout at you, but they don't shout, they just look at you, they just go, I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
that's way worse. Because they've come to a conclusion, because they're not raging at us.
Yeah.
Because the reason that's way worse is because we understand what that's done is that has shifted their expectation of us to this.
Oh God, yeah.
Whereas when they're yelling at us, we're like, I'm yelling at you because I expect you to be here and you're showing up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when they go, I'm disappointed, it's like, right, I thought you were here, but actually. Right? They've come to a conclusion. It's like we're not getting any emotion from them.
Yeah. Yeah, that is worse. Yeah.
So I want you to get to that point of indifference with him. And when he messages you, resist engaging with him. Do not engage with the conversation. Okay. Because you've given him the fair due, because regardless of how he treat you, you still want to be a just, right, fair human being.
Exactly.
And so, right. And so you've communicated to him at that point. We had a great time, but this isn't for me. Wish you all the best. I'm moving on. I owe you nothing from this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Read the text back to me again.
All right. Let me get it. Whoops.
Read the text back to me.
All right. Okay. So, hey, thanks for reaching out. I'd almost forgotten about you. While it was great spending time with you, I've realized that this isn't what I'm looking for. No hard feelings. Wish you all the best.
How does that feel?
Feels great.
I
feel like that's because I was trying to write a text last night and I was like, I don't know how to, I was like, I don't want to get too like emotional about it. Like I just wanted something short and sweet. And I feel like that's perfect. So thank you.
Perfect. That's your homework, Amy.
Woohoo.
That's your homework. When he comes back, read the thing about how he made you feel You
Mm.
send that message and you leave it alone. That's it.
Sounds good.
You got it. Amy, we appreciate you sharing your Monday morning with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Kit.
Thanks, guys. All right. Enjoy your day, right? Bye. We love that, guys. Indifference is more powerful than spite. Indifference is more powerful than spite. There is literally nothing worse than someone understanding that they cannot get anything from you. And people who are incredibly emotionally intelligent and people who are incredibly manipulative, right? For them, it's not about whether they get good emotion or bad emotion from you. It's about, can they get something from you? Because if they can get something from you, it means they still have power. And not necessarily over you, but they still have power within this dynamic. And we want to remove that power. And how we do that is by being indifferent. Guys, thank you for sharing your Sunday evening with us, wherever you are. We had some great stories today. Both Amy's. We had Amy Squared today. Thank you for tuning in. If you are catching the after effects, catch me next Sunday, same time, 9 p.m. I've got a few lovely women lined up who want to share their story. We're going to break it down, see what we can do to get them to the next stage of their love lives. So guys, this has been Kit. I'm signing off, and I will see you in the next video.